What's going on, guys? Look what I picked up today. A little T5 core here. Not just one, but two. So we're going to take one of these guys apart today and see what we got. I got a pretty good deal for both of them. I drove about an hour up the road and picked these up. It's very hard nowadays to find a good core. Usually you have to piece a couple transmissions together just to get a good T5, but they're getting harder to come by, so I couldn't pass this up for both of them, especially for the price I got. So hopefully we don't have any cracks in the case or the bell housing, but I can always TIG weld that, but I'm hoping for a nice solid core. Hopefully no one's opened it up before, because if they've opened it up before, sometimes people don't care. They use the wrong tools when they take things apart, and they use hammers and they mess up the shafts, and it can be a real headache, especially with the bolts. People either use impacts to tighten the bolts or they over torque them. So most of the time I got to do some thread repair. So let's get these inside, we'll tear them down, and we'll see what we're working with. Right off the bat, there is something different about the front of these. They both have a 5.0 Fox body bell housing, but there's something different that with experience you can see. Now, I'm going to point it out to you, but if you're looking to buy a T5, go watch my video on how to identify. It gives you a lot of tips if you don't really know what you're buying or what you're looking for when you're getting a T5 for your Mustang. So right off the bat here, I can notice that the diameter here is thinner than the diameter on this one. Let me get some calipers and I'll show you. So the V8s had a thicker input. Now, I don't remember the specs off the top of my head, guys, but I know, look at that. I know that this one is thinner. So we're looking at about 90 thousandths, maybe 80, 90 thousandths thicker. So if you were to put this in a 5.0, yeah, probably not too good, because this kind of guides it into place, and I don't think this thing flopping around in that pilot bearing is really good for the longevity of the transmission, and it's just not right. So if you were to put this in your 5.0, yes, it'll bolt up, but is it 100% correct? No, it is not. So I do not recommend that, and this is something to look for. The next difference is we don't have our switch for our cruise control, neutral sensing switch, neutral safety switch, whatever you guys want to call it. There's a lot of controversy on that switch. I'm not going to get into that, but this one does not have it, and this one does. If you're not sure what you got by looking at the front, hopefully that we got the tag. When I looked at the ad for these T5s, only one of them took a picture of the tag. And a lot of times when people are selling their T5, they'll take a picture of the tail housing number or the case number, and that doesn't really tell you shit. So if you guys are posting your T5 for sale, please take a picture of this tag, and it helps identify where it came out of and the gear ratios inside. So you're going to want to look for the 1352-3-digit number. So you got 1352-207 right there. And for the dirty one, We got 1352-169. I think that is a early mid 80s number. So let's take a look at the chart and we'll see what we got. So this website here, guys, it has great information, britishva.org. I'll leave the link below in the description. So it tells you how to identify T5s. These guys did their research, and this kind of information is priceless. So let's see here. So it starts all the way from number 1. I mean, these were in all different vehicles, GMs, Nissans, AMCs, Jeeps. So it's pretty cool. So let's find that first one. It was 169. Here we go. 1352-169. 1986 Mustang or Capri with a 5.0 V8, world class. I think that's a typo, the 5.30. There is no 5.3 engines around then. So it's going to start with the reverse ratio, and then we go from first, second, third, fourth, and overdrive for fifth. So it's got a nice 068 overdrive, and yeah, there's the ratios for that one. It's pretty much the standard T5 Mustang ratio. So that's that one. And the other one I believe was 207. So this one specifically, and I don't tell you which one it came out of. So it just says Ford World Class. So here's the ratios. There's reverse, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. If we go to a 2.3 liter 1992 Mustang 2.3, we have the same ratios as these two guys, the 397, 234, 14810, and 079. So if you go to the SVO turbo, here we go in a T-Bird. So this is basically the same ratios if you were to put these side by side as a turbo or 2.3. So we're just going to call it a 2.3 liter because that's way different than from a V8. A V8's 335, so it's closer to the 2.3 turbo or non-turbo. So pretty cool, guys. Check this chart out. You know, go sneak under your car, see what kind of tag number you got, find your car and tag number on here, and you might find out that you don't have a V8 T5. You might find out you have the correct T5. You might find out you have an early T5 than what you should have in your car. So go check it out. A lot of times the threads on these bell housings are stripped. Guys, I think the torque's only like 35 foot-pounds, so don't kill it on these bolts, okay? I would put a little bit of Loctite, especially if you have a cam or a modified Mustang, because everything vibrates and they can work loose. It has happened to me, so just make sure they're tight. A little bit of Loctite on them. So we're going to take apart the 4-cylinder T5 because the only thing I'm interested in is the case, the bell housing, and the tail housing. The gears inside are not the right ratio for a V8, and I'm probably going to take the gear set out. I'll have a nice complete gear set for somebody who has a little 2.3, either it's a turbo or something, and they want to throw the gear set in there. I know there's a couple of Volvo guys that do this swap on some kind of Volvo out there that you can do this swap on. They swap T5s into them, so I've sold a few of those to some Volvo guys. But I'm not a Volvo guy, I'm a diehard Mustang guy, so we're going to get this up to V8 specs here. So unfortunately, as I feared, as suspected, that thread is gone. So yeah, I'll have to replace that. No big deal. It's just, another thing you got to do. This one is a little hammered too. I'll be able to fix that one. But other two look okay. It's also something to note, guys, and check out. We are missing a pivot ball, so to get one of those. Always get so excited taking one of these apart, even though I know exactly what's inside, how pretty much everything works. But, you know, it's still cool to see what you picked up out there and what you got on the inside, if you got anything good or bad. So, you know. Already these bolts are like freaking over torqued on here. On the shifter. Guys, just snug these bolts up. You don't got to kill them, all right? That one was better. I always kind of just throw those away. Stock shifter. It's very hard to find a virgin out here. You know, most of these T5s have been apart 2, 3, 4 times, rebuilt, you know, through so many hands, in and out of Mustangs, through the ringer. So finding a virgin is the best thing you can do, because it's, like I said before, it's never been apart before. Everything's torqued to factory specs. Nothing's been messed with. So it makes the whole rebuild process go a lot smoother and makes my job easier. As well as, you know, if a customer's paying for something, they don't have to buy any extra parts. There's no extra surprises in there. I'm not gonna explain how this thing comes apart. Go watch my video. I have like over an hour and a half of footage on how to rebuild your T5. So this is more of a, you know, went on a hunt and we're seeing what I picked up. They look freaking beautiful, like brand new. Another thing with the 4-banger T5s is you got to think about, I mean, I don't even know how much horsepower those things had. I know the SVOs had like, what, 230. They had a little bit more than the V8s, maybe a little less. Don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, even just like a stock 2.3, I don't even think they made 100 horsepower. So as long as, you know, the oil level was right through its whole life and the oil was changed at least a few times, you know, you'll have this thing will last forever. So there's you know, no torque going through this thing. Now we're gonna zip off the, I think there's 10 of them, the 10 top case bolts here. Now there's 2 pry points on this top cover, guys. There's reliefs on each corner, so you don't ruin the mating surfaces. Just so you're aware. There's one here, one here. I think early ones only had one. I might be mistaken. There we go. She was on there for a while. Well, guys, as luck would have it, my phone literally ran out of space as I was pulling this cover off. So let's do the big reveal one more time. So we got a nice top cover here. Nothing seems to be broken or bent. Actually, that's just some casting, I think. Yeah. Plastic pads. The plastic pads look pretty much brand new. They don't look like any signs of cracking or breaking. So, like I said, this thing probably had 80 horsepower going through it its whole life. So it was living good. Wow. Now, I'm pretty, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but, you know, this thing looks like it's in great condition. There's not much blade finish on the gears. It's a little, it's pretty big wear marks on that input shaft. but none of these. See if anything's chipped here. I don't see any chipped gears, which is good. The engagement teeth look very healthy on first gear, second gear. Slight, very slight roundness to it, but it's normal wear. Same with third, they look pretty nice, as well as fourth. So Synchro is, you know, it's worn down. It's still stopping the gear though. That one has a little bit more material on it. That one looks pretty good. So, well, this is a win, guys. All these gears, you know, as far as we can see from here without taking it apart any further, look great. They can definitely be reused, this whole gear set. So, if somebody's looking for a little 2.3 liter gear set for their SVO turbo or whatever, it'll be up for sale. So, good to see that, you know, I got something out of this transmission. It wasn't just a blown up pile of crap. So the only thing is I gotta take a lot of time cleaning this case, getting all that paint off. That's gonna wrap this one up, guys. Mission success. If you're looking for more information on how to rebuild your T5, hit the description below. I left a link down there for my other videos, as well as if you're looking for some rebuild parts for your T5, I also carry a lot of parts for the T5, so head down to the description. There's a lot of information in there. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.